did some things for myself today and this last week that I wouldn't have normally done, and it's brought me a lot of clarity. And I just want to read what I've written here. Entry 5: asking for what you want, asking for what you need. I usually get a knot in my gut when it comes to asking for what I need or want. Seems like every time, and it's usually signaled me to stay silent and assume that the other person knows what I want or need. But if my past relationships have taught me anything, it's that people are not mind readers. They must be invited in to give what you ask for, so that I may receive. Thinking that women are bitches for asking for what they want, deserve, desire is a huge cultural and societal entanglement of fear, scarcity, and unworthiness, of which the energy of will throw me into victimhood and negative self-talk in an instant. If I'm not a bitch for asking for what I need, I am not a bitch for asking for what I need. In fact, it is a sacred act of self-care for me to do so. People will think what they will, do what they will, regardless if I speak up or not. And so I might as well speak up. At the very least, I have proven to myself that I can do the hard things. And at the very most, I might just get what I ask for. Imagine that. Women, especially women leaders, must start asking for what they want, even if it makes them unpopular or inconvenient or bitchy. I believe we can ask for what we want in a way that is gentle, affirming, and beneficial for us all. When women see me asking for what I want, most often it will trigger them, as it has me in the past. And that's beautiful because it opens the portal to where they are still not speaking up for their own needs. There are gifts everywhere we look if we're open to receiving them. And so, as I wait to hear back from 2 specific connections of whom I have asked for compensation for work done and about to be delivered, I sit in the space of sacredness. That in-between space of asking and then waiting. This space is new to my nervous system, and so I created a ritual, a small and sacred way to honor not only myself in the asking, but in their receiving the energy. The in-between space is one where it is unknown. It can be uncomfortable, and all is well. We exist in a reciprocal universe. What we give, we receive, and what we believe, we see. I feel there is so much more for me to learn, and it has brought me to the exact place that I need to be. To be open in giving more of myself, to be open to feedback, to be open to receiving even more love and abundance as I pour myself into my life. I have also been creating, breathing, and coming to terms with the amazing gifts that I can offer, specifically for those in pain. Most people who have physical pain only see that aspect of themselves. And what I share is the connection between the body as messenger, emotion as energy, and mind as the subconscious body, and the soul, the divine collaboration. If the body is the receiver of information, which it is, and the mind is the free will of choice mechanism we all have, which it is, and the soul, or higher being, is the guiding bearer of truth, which it is, it would serve us to listen to the soul, to that higher knowing, and work in tandem with the mind in order to fulfill the body's basic task of keeping us well and healthy. What I find is that humans have been so indoctrinated in what to do when you're sick, in such a fear-based society, fear of death, and I get it, that we have been stripped of any internal compass or trust in that compass. And I am here to bring back the sacred compass. We each have it, and we each can choose to either listen to its messages of love and truth or to ignore it out of fear and accept our lot in life. The latter always leads to more suffering, stripping us further of joy and happy moments, because it is a choice. Each person must ask themselves from a place of love what would feel best for them in any given situation. The problem is that we don't. We are not and have not been taught to ask ourselves, our bodies, what it wants, what it needs. I mean, that just sounds really silly, doesn't it? Why would I ask my arm what it needs if it hurts? If it is true that our undigested emotions lodge themselves in our fascia, bones, and fibers and cause stuck energy, because that's what emotions are, energy and motion, we are also blocking prana, or life force, from moving through us. Thus, we are actively participating in the breakdown of this human form. It's the cycle of beliefs and conditionings that keep us in this loop and cause suffering to not only be optional, but the only way back to God, to sacrifice, to suffer. What I ask people to practice is to get curious. Get curious why this is showing up, why this is coming up. Why is this happening for me? What does my body need, and how can I give it what it needs? Sometimes the most simple is the most difficult to practice because it's so simple. And there can't be value in simple. It has to be hard. It has to be difficult. There has to be suffering. So ask your body what this is, this illness, this problem, this suffering is teaching you about what you need. And then listen. Listening is key. Being aware of the messages that arrive, in whatever form they arrive in. Sometimes they arrive in other people's words. Sometimes they arrive in a sensation in the body. Sometimes it's the sight of an animal. Sometimes it's in a passing remark on the radio or news or podcast. Sometimes it's a line in a book that we've just read. Sometimes it comes when we're washing dishes or vacuuming or taking a walk. Sometimes it comes in a pattern that you didn't even know that you were stuck in. Awareness of our very sacred present moments hold the answers to all of our suffering, if only